everyone, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Noel.
And welcome back to another episode of Random Conversations. It's a lot, well not a lot, but yeah, we might unpack a lot in these topics that we have. So, we're sports people. I'm like, me more so him. So we started the NBA season last week. And we're going to talk about the teams that we feel look good, even though it's a couple games in. I'm going to talk about my Knicks, and he's going to talk about the teams he likes. Well, the team he likes. LeBron sitting on the bench.
Yeah, freaking drama queen.
What's wrong with him?
Because they didn't give him what he wanted. They didn't give him an extension.
He's not injured for real?
Yeah. He told me he got sciatica, but I don't think he's not wrong with his back. You see it in his face when he was watching the Lakers play for the game, the season opener, yes. And Luka had that. They showed the clip where Luka had like a 3-point play and won. Yeah. And he was just like he just did not care. He's like a little
But why
child.
At this stage of his career does he feel he needs an extension? Isn't he like 40? He's going to be 41 this year.
That's the problem with LeBron. He's chasing Jordan. He wants to be.
When did Jordan stop playing? What age? 45?
No. Jordan. He stopped playing and he came back at like 40.
Yeah, but then he only played for like 1 year with the Wizards.
Right.
Yeah.
LeBron James definitely playing longer than Jordan, but my thing is when I say he's chasing Jordan in terms of championships because everybody's gonna measure him according to that. They're gonna be like, yeah, you got more points than him, but it took you how long to do it? Yeah, you played more seasons than him, but he accomplished more in his 13, 14 seasons in the NBA than you did in 23. He's chasing this ghost, and he could have caught him a long time ago. When
did you think he would have caught him?
You thought he had the formula when he
was in Miami?
When he was in Miami, because the secret sauce was the fact that he took less to be around great players. You're at an age where you're not as effective as you used to be. You don't affect the game in the same way.
I think he still does.
He might drop like 30, 35 points, 40 points, but it doesn't have the same impact as when he did maybe like 5 to 10 years ago. And that comes with age. He can't play defense. He's the turnstile at this point, right? And no matter how flashy offense looks, there's two ends of the court, right? And if you're going to take off one end of the court, then the team ultimately suffers. One of the better things about LeBron James was that he was a great defender to go along with his great offensive prowess. He's not that anymore, but he thinks he's that. You know what I'm saying?
Because he's been that way for so long.
He's been pampered for so long. From high school, they anointed him like the best thing since sliced bread. He gets to the NBA, it's the same thing, the chosen one. And, it's carried him all through his life. But I think
he lived up to it, no? How many rings does he have?
I'm not saying that.
It's 4, right?
Yeah, he has 4. I'm not saying that he didn't live up to it. What I'm saying is you get to LA and now you want to just get all the money you can. I'm like, you're a billionaire already. Do like Tim Duncan did. Tim Duncan took less money than he could have got, but ultimately he had sustained success over the complete duration of his career, right? Because he took less so that they could build around him. Tom Brady did the same thing. Took less so the team could build around him. He never got paid his real market value. And he understood that because he was chasing legacy. LeBron James keeps saying that he's chasing legacy, but he doesn't do the things that a person needs to do in order to be what he wants to be, which is regarded as the best NBA player ever.
I honestly thought
he's still gonna be filthy rich.
I honestly thought he was on the bench because he was injured. I'm like, but I didn't know there was a backstory.
No, he's saying he's injured. He's saying his back hurt. But
do you believe that?
Me personally, I don't believe it. But that's what he's saying. He's saying that his back's hurt.
Well,
so it leaves us to
enough with LeBron. Enough with LeBron.
Yeah, enough with LeBron. Because what the Lakers need to do, and it sucks because he has a no-trade clause. Because if he didn't have that no-trade clause, he wouldn't be on the Lakers right now. You trade him while he's still got a little bit of gas left. Freaking build around Luka. That's the way to go. You don't need a pouting old LeBron on the bench.
You know who I think in the West is really good? Golden State.
Yeah, Golden State's good.
Golden State, I guess all the backlash that Aisha got must have pissed him off. Because the way he's playing right now is like Steph from like 2015, 2016. He has that fire in his eyes, like he wants it and he wants that now. Yeah. And I think Golden State will give OKC a run for their money.
Everybody's
Because OKC they already, from what I remember, they already had 2 double overtimes. But
they won them both.
Yeah, they won them both, but
it don't matter. OKC picked up right where they left off. That's a great team, and they're young, and they're gonna be great for a
I don't think they're gonna go to double overtime against the Warriors.
Look who they went to double overtime. Look who they were playing.
The Pacers. They played without Tyrese Halliburton.
They played the Houston Rockets.
New look Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets is another team that people gotta watch out for because they took OKC to double overtime. They're gonna be great. I think it was you that brought to my attention that everybody on that team is like 6'7" and up.
Oh, the starting
lineup. Except for Fred VanVleet. He ain't 6'7".
But he's not starting.
He's not. He's on the bench?
Amen
Thompson,
I think, he's the starting point guard. Kevin Durant at 6'11" is the shooting guard.
Yeah, that team is going to be like that. That team is going to be a problem. Mm-hmm. So I think it's OKC, Golden State, and Houston Rockets from the West. Now on the East.
No, wait. Before you leave the West, you need to put some respect on Victor Wembanyama's name.
Oh, yes, I forgot.
Because he bowled the hell out the other night.
Yeah, 40 points. 40 points. And the new dude, Cooper Flag, he got like 10 points and 10 rebounds.
But it was
I think that team is going to need a little bit of a mold. They're going to need a little bit more molding. And when Kyrie comes back.
If Kyrie was there, it would have been a much better game. They probably could have had a...
It would have been closer because he would have scored at least 30 points.
Yeah. But the thing is, Anthony Davis isn't your number one. He don't have that personality, that dog in him to be number one. He's a good sidekick. Mm. He's not a good leading man, right? So
and he showed you that in Los Angeles.
Right. Kyrie was supposed to be that leading man, and he tore his ACL last season, and he's not expected to be back. And when he comes back this season, he's not going to be the Kyrie of he's not going to be able to...
He tore his Achilles, right? Or his ACL?
His ACL. He's not going to be able to step on the court and be what he was last season. It's going to take time. So you're probably not going to see glimpses of... You'll see glimpses, but you're not going to see him on a consistent basis playing at his current level until probably 2027.
Damn. Well, what's his name? I think he tore his Achilles, but he came back the following season. Great.
Yeah, because
he was balling out. So what difference does that? What difference does it make?
You have Kyrie Irving, who's 6'4", plays under the rim, right?
Oh, he needs to he needs to make up for the height.
Right. He needs to, there's a lot more work he has to do to score. And then not only Durant is 6'11". When a jump shot, once he pulls up for a jump shot, he's about like 8 feet in the air. The ball's like 8-9 feet in the air. Mm-hmm. You're not blocking his shot. Mm-hmm. Durant is just a completely sound player with high basketball IQ, and being 6'11" and a great shooter like he is, it's easy for him to come back from something like this. It's easier, I should say. Not easy, but it's easier for a player like him with his skill set and his body to come back and be effective as opposed
to sports doctor.
Kyrie,
sports science.
Kyrie's a lot of stop and start, a lot of lateral movements.
Segment, sports science.
I mean, it's just...
Can we talk about the East now?
Yeah, talk about the East. Who cares about the East? Like, nobody from the East is winning a championship, but let's talk about the East.
But you never know. The Celtics. The Celtics are always going to be good.
Jason Tatum tore his Achilles. He's not playing.
The Celtics are always going to be good. Doesn't matter.
Jason Tatum tore his Achilles.
They got Porzingis and they got Jaylen Brown. They could do something with that.
Yeah.
And then you got
what did they do with that last year?
And you got... What you mean what they did with that
last year? What did they do with that last year? Did they win anything?
They didn't win, but...
Was the NBA champions?
It's OKC.
Did they go to who was the Eastern Conference champions?
Anyway. And then you got the Knicks, who's starting off pretty well. And for the first game, the season opener, we even have 2 of our starters, and we still beat, I believe, the Cavaliers by a wide margin.
Mm-hmm. That's only.
But then they didn't have their 2 starters, but still.
That's only because Thibodeau finally played his bench.
Well, Thibodeau's not there anymore. It's Mike Brown.
Oh yeah. Now it makes sense. It makes total sense. Now you have a coach who's willing to use the entire roster. You know, y'all gonna be a lot better.
Well, I hope so, because Mike Brown's been around.
They're probably gonna be number 1 seed.
Mike Brown has been around.
No, but I remember when he went to the Kings and he turned them around.
And why is he not there anymore?
I don't know. Maybe he outstayed his welcome. I don't know.
He was only there for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And I heard Thibodeau is pretty salty about his exit from the Knicks.
Oh, poor Thibodeau.
Because there's a few people he thought would have his back to be like, oh no, don't let him go. And they just didn't say anything. They just let him go by the wayside and just whatever the front office wanted to do, they just did what they wanted.
Do you think you would win a championship with Tibbs?
If you gave him one more, that's what, like in the beginning, I said, give that man one more year. Just one more year.
Tibbs hasn't won anyway. He has
just one more year.
His ceiling is the Eastern Conference Finals. He'll give you great regular seasons.
Did he take Chicago? No, Chicago never went to.
They never won anything. They had great teams, but they always got stopped by LeBron and the Cavs. He can't. The way he coaches, he runs his players into the ground.
So I think I don't know if the Knicks are going to be number one in the East, but I do believe they're going to be at least top 5.
You know, I love it when the Knicks are number one. I love it when the Knicks go to the playoffs and everybody thinks they're going to make noise because the city gets it becomes alive.
It becomes electric.
The Knicks fans start talking crazy and then they lose and it's just so fun to watch their faces.
Speaking of the NBA, so recently Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier was arrested for, I believe, gambling, sports gambling.
I can't believe that.
I couldn't believe it when I heard it.
Terry Rozier maybe, but
they
Chauncey
both
Billups
are out on
surprise
bail, but like you said, Chauncey Billups really did surprise me, and a lot of people think this is a stain on the NBA, especially this happening at the start of the season. It's not a good look.
They investigated Terry Rozier.
They've been investigating him
I'm not talking about the FBI. I'm talking about the NBA. Opened up an investigation into Terry Rozier, and then they closed it. So
because they didn't find anything.
That's why now you're gonna have all the
what's
people.
His name got called in for gambling as well. Gilbert Arenas, and everybody thought, oh, he must have did something, but he ended up walking.
They said that he rented the house of the person that was running the ring, but he had nothing. To do with it. As I understand it. But then you saw what he put on social media. He was trolling, talking about informant lunch.
Yeah, I think he wasn't an informant because he's always a troll. But Chauncey Billups getting caught up in this scandal, I would have never thought in a million years.
LeBron James got caught up in the scandal too.
Yeah, but as a third party, he didn't really do anything. It's just the other guy. I think it's Devon something. I don't remember.
Damon Jones.
Damon.
Yeah,
he was a coach. Yeah, and he told people who were betting on LeBron that he's going to be out.
Yeah.
So that kind of is like tampering. So he was kind of like put in like a third party. He wasn't really inside the gambling thing.
I was watching Inside the NBA and Shaq and them were talking about the whole situation, right?
Yeah.
And I think Shaq or Kenny, I can't remember which one of them, but one of them was saying that, gambling is an addiction.
And I think it was Shaq.
No, I think it was one of them. I think it was Kenny. Because Chuck said that they're stupid, and he was like, it ain't no addiction, right? And I was like, gambling is an addiction, but for me, when I look at it, when they say the mafia, because there's like talking about how much money Terry Rozier makes. He makes a lot of money, and Chauncey Billups makes a lot of money too as a coach, and he made tons of money as a player. So like they're financially set. So
it's like, why are you doing this?
Right. Chuck was saying, why are you doing it, right? But I think because they said it was a mafia gambling ring, right? So what the mafia does, from what I've heard in interviews and stuff like that with past mafia members, they'll get a player, because a lot of these players don't manage their money right. By the end of the season, even though you make like $10 million or whatever, you end up living check to check. Sometimes you gotta borrow money from teammates to freaking get through the off season until you get your first check from the first from the next season. They don't know how to manage their money, and a lot of these players, they love to gamble. They get in deep with mafia members and stuff like that. And in order to get out from under them, they have to do things like this, where they might miss a free throw to cover a spread, or give information about somebody's injury that no one knows yet. Give out early information. I think that's what happened with Terry Rozier. I think with his, I don't know, I don't have any inside information, but for me, when I heard mafia involvement, that it was them who was running the ring, I was thinking maybe he got in too deep with them, and in order for him to get out, he had to do what he had to do, which was, report on people's injuries and stuff, or be injured and come out or whatever.
That is crazy. You too rich to be doing some dumb shit like that. I could see if you were a bench, like a practice squad player, right? But to be, sometimes he's in the starting lineup.
Yeah, Terry Rozier's a
You
good
get
player.
money.
He's a good player. He's been around a long time.
Listen, there's some times where I'm watching Terry Rozier when he's playing like my teams, and he's just lighting it up. He's scoring 3 after 3 after 3. When you think you're about to win, he comes and he scores all the points and knocks you right out the game. He makes money. So I don't understand why he's doing this. Same thing with Chauncey Billups. You're a Hall of Fame basketball player. That's going to taint your career forever. He probably won't even get another head coaching job after this.
He might not get in the Hall of Fame.
Portland, he is in the Hall of Fame.
He's
in the Hall of Fame. Portland's, after everything is said and done, if he's guilty, that's it. Because first of all, you're going to jail.
He might get pulled out of the Hall of Fame too.
That's crazy.
He might get pulled out. Look at like in baseball, Pete Rose can't even.
Yeah, but he was never in it though.
Pete Rose was in the Hall of Fame.
He was in, and then they revoked it.
I'm not sure if he's in the Hall of Fame anymore. Google that.
That's insane. But for Chauncey Billups, because I grew up watching him. He was on Detroit. He was on that 04 team that won the championship. I remember that.
Yeah,
and for him to be caught with some dumb shit like that, I'm like, are you stupid? And then you're going to put your family in jeopardy to lose out on the lifestyle that you provided for them? It doesn't make sense to me. But enough with the NBA. I'm going to switch gears here.
Oh, yeah, they had Pete Rose in the permanently ineligible list.
Yeah, I don't think he was ever in it.
For the Hall of Fame, yeah.
Because his argument is that he should be in based off his his stats.
I think he should be in because he was a hell of a freaking player. But
I don't even know. Like, I know the name Pete Rose, but I'm like, what did he do?
Nah, he was.
You should know. I don't know.
He was good.
What team he played for? You remember?
I think the Reds.
Don't nobody care. All right. So I'm going to switch gears here. I want to talk about the mayoral race that's happening in New York City. I believe Election Day is November 4th, so whoever's watching, I encourage y'all to vote for the best candidate that you feel deserves to be the mayor of New York City.
Who do you think is the best candidate?
That's a...
Say what you think, because you
I like Zoran. I like what he's saying. The city deserves change. But I'm listening to Curtis Lewa. I don't know if it's because of his personality and the way he delivers messages, but he's starting to like grow a little bit on me. He's been running for mayor for God knows how long, since de Blasio was mayor. He's always the Republican. Yeah, he's always the Republican candidate. He was a Republican candidate when Mayor Adams was running. He's a Republican candidate again because there's nobody else. But now with this race, you're starting to see a little bit more of his personality. He's funny. He's a Republican, yes, but there are some things I do agree with him on, like with the ICE race. That local enforcers should be dealing with them, not ICE. And I just like his personality. But I'm not gonna vote for him unless he changes some of the things he's for. I think he's like adding more police. Not to say that police is.
They all want to add more police.
They do. Even
not Zoran. Zoran wants to. I think he wants to defund the police. He
doesn't want. He said on record he's not trying to defund the police, which is fine.
Well, he don't want more police. I think we need a little bit more police. I think we need more police.
I don't think crime. One thing about Adams, even though people don't like him, he did decrease crime in the city, because when de Blasio was running things, oh my God, crime was rampant. And that's how he won the last election, because he was tough on crime and everybody was just like, why is every day there's a shooting happening? Why are these kids killing each other? That's how Mayor Adams won the last election. But now we're focused on living, we're focused on rent, we're focused on the price of everything. Because it's very expensive to live in this city.
Which is why Zoran is getting so much.
Yeah, because people are tired. And then another thing,
he be talking some crazy stuff.
Another thing that
free bus rides.
I don't know about free bus rides, but Eric Adams, every year that he's been in office, the rent has increased. It increased 12% since he started in 2021.
But he did give city employees like a 15% raise.
Yeah, but
He was like, "I'll just give y'all enough money to pay this."
But not everybody's a city employee.
But Zoran talking about you want to raise the minimum wage to $30. I don't know how you do that. Because the minimum wage right now is $15.
He's trying to make the city livable. He's trying to make the city for everybody, not just for the rich.
He's not gonna make it livable.
And that's why the rich don't back him.
I don't think he's gonna. I don't think the things that he says, like it's pie in the sky, like it's not real. I don't see how he can affect these changes, right? I don't know how he can make these changes. Like when he says he wants to increase the minimum wage from $15 to $30, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means you basically doubling companies' payrolls, right? So
you don't think that these companies can afford it?
I don't think that that's possible if you're doubling people's payrolls, right? That's just too much. Yeah, you want to increase it, but to double it,
if you put
that's
more
ridiculous.
money in people's pockets, then they could put more money into the businesses. Everybody makes more money.
No, but the business model works the way it works. The business model works when they look at the numbers and they say, okay, this is what we can afford to pay our workforce.
They're running on rent.
Everything that he's doing, he's making New York less friendly for businesses to thrive. And I can see a lot of businesses that are able to.
So where do you think the middle ground lies? Because people need to thrive and businesses need to thrive. So how are we going to do both? Who's the candidate that's going to do both?
I feel like
I don't think it's going to be both.
When I looked at that last debate, there wasn't really one candidate that really like. There wasn't one candidate I can say I gravitated to like, ooh, like this is the guy, right? There were things that each of them said that I liked. And there were things that each of them said that I didn't like. Like with Sliwa, right? Mm-hmm. He had said a lot of good things that I liked about. But then one thing that I remember him saying was that he wanted to decrease the age in which an individual could be tried as an adult to 16. So like you want to put a 16-year-old in prison.
It depends on what the 16-year-old did.
Right, but
some of these 16-year-olds know exactly what.
Well, he said violent crimes, but my thing is, I still don't believe you should be putting 16-year-olds in prison with grown ass men.
Sometimes they need that
because we know what happens in prison, and I don't think I feel comfortable knowing that these grown ass men are doing things to the 16-year-old.
Well, the 16-year-old did some grown ass things, so he needs to learn some grown ass consequences.
He should be punished, but that doesn't mean he has to go to adult prison.
Because by the time you're 18, that's why a lot of these juveniles do what they do, knowing that they're not going to stay in the center forever.
But that's your guy, Zoran, right? He wants to do cashless bail. Right? Mm-hmm. So that means it's like a revolving door. You get arrested, you right back out on the streets. Mm-hmm. Right? You don't have to worry about making bail. You don't have to worry about
I think he's trying
that stuff.
I think he's trying to create programs where you get out on bail, but there's certain things you have to do.
There's no bail. My thing is bail is a construct in which it's used to keep criminals in. But you just arresting them and it's like catch and release. Right?
Isn't that what we're doing right now?
Right.
But the crime has also decreased.
Right. We need to. But that's what I like about Sliwa is that he wants to be tough on crime, but then at the same token, I don't like him decreasing the age of potential adult offenders to 16. I think that's too young. Right. He also wants to cut the education department funds by 25%.
That's one thing I didn't like.
I don't see how that works.
I don't like that.
Everybody likes to say children are our future.
But you're cutting from the budget.
You're cutting from the budget. So it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like you're cutting your nose off to spite your face. But Cuomo just seems like a politician. Like he talks out of both sides of his mouth. But Zoran, he doesn't commit to a lot. Like everything is, I don't know yet, I don't have a position yet. And then there was one instance where he took a picture with some official from Ghana. She locks up gays just for being gay. Right? So
did he know that though?
He's saying he didn't know that.
I don't think he knew that.
When you're a public figure like that and stuff like that, you need to know.
It depends on how the picture came about. Did she come up to him and be like, "Hey, can I get a picture?" Because then that's different.
They said him and his father was cheating.
So what you do in the picture? This.
All right, so you gonna go take a picture with Trump?
That's different. She went up to him and took the picture, right? Well, we don't know the circumstance of how that picture came about.
You think that chummy in the picture?
So, do you know the backstory to how this picture came about?
I know that they took a picture, and I know that she has her politics.
So, when you take a picture with somebody, are you not smiling?
I'm not taking a picture with somebody that believes that.
But he might not have known that. I'm saying she might have came up to him and said, "Can we get a picture?"
So there is a world that exists where he would have known that and still took the picture. No,
there is, but the thing is, did he know? Right, he's telling you he didn't know.
Right, we'll never know. It's for us.
So you can't just say like, "Oh, he's out here taking pictures." He took the picture, but did he know that this person's mindset is to lock up gays because they're gay? Did he know that?
It's questionable.
He's saying he didn't know.
It's questionable. What I'm saying, and a lot of the things he said, like I said, he's non-committal in a lot of things.
He's non-committal, but I think right now, because of the circumstances that a lot of New Yorkers live in, they're just worried about surviving, and he's the candidate that gives most hope on making every New Yorker stay afloat with the money that they're making.
If you say so, if the businesses leave,
like crime is not a big deal to the people anymore. It's living, the cost of living. How am I going to make my rent next month? And he's out here making promises. A lot of people are going to be like, okay, let's see what he can do.
Oh, but Sliwa and Homo want to raise the minimum wage, but not to $30. I mean, you can't. You have to build to that. You can't just double it.
Honestly, I think if Cuomo gets in there, there's nothing that's going to really change. It's just going to be the same old Eric Adams stuff.
I don't think it's going to be bad.
He's not going to be outside. He's not going to be outside partying. Eric Adams, I like to call him the CEO of outside because that man is always outside partying. That's what he does. I don't think Cuomo's going to be like that, but I feel like a lot of things are not going to change. Hell, the rent might be 3% more in like the next 2 years. Maybe not even the next 2 years. Maybe the next year is going to be up by 3%. I don't think he's going to do anything with the cost of living in the city.
Well, Zoran said he's going to do a rent freeze. What people?
Cuomo is not going to do anything when it comes to the cost of living, and that's the main issue in this city.
But what people need is not a rent freeze. What they need is a rent reduction. No one's talking about that. Right? No one's talking about rent going down.
Nobody's ever going to talk about
rent going down. But that's what needs to happen, and it's never going to happen. Right? They'll pause it for a while.
I saw this video of this gentleman saying that the reason why a lot of these places are too expensive for people to live in is because they're being bought up by foreign entities who uses the buildings to wash their money or certain things like that, and they make profit off of it because they know, like, people outside of New York. Well, it's a lot of people outside of New York who are buying all these buildings, especially like in the city, and they're rising up the rent. They're making it very unlivable.
Yeah, but the city's
not doing anything
right,
about
the city's
that.
Allowing them to charge
these
exuberant rents.
Yeah.
Right? But there's another thing that I like that Sliwa said when he talked about the more small time landlords, and he was basically talking about making some changes to
how much rent they could charge
to the court system, the tenant court system, because he's like basically. It's terrible. He's like, you could basically squat in an apartment for like 4 years and pay nothing. And it's like hell to get you out. And I've heard horror stories from friends and friends of friends, which they own properties where they have tenants and the tenants refuse to pay, and you have to provide them with all the amenities. You have to provide them with all the utilities and all that stuff, despite the fact that they're not paying their
rent. And when it's time for them to move, they're breaking down everything, they're punching holes in your walls and things of that nature.
And ain't nothing you can do about it. You know what I'm saying? New York City is the worst when it comes to tenants.
The only downfall I see with Zoran getting the mayoral bid is, well, not bid, but winning the race, is that the president said that he's going to cut off funds to New York City.
Right.
And he's going to take over New York City if Zoran wins. That's the only downfall I see. But I don't know if that is going to, I don't know. I don't think it should happen.
He's not
Meaning,
gonna, I don't think he's gonna take
meaning
it.
like,
He's not gonna take it.
is that even legal for him to do?
Well, there's a lot of things that he's doing that is in the legal gray areas.
That's the only downfall I see if he wins.
And that was another topic during the debate that I really listened to when they were talking about how would you deal with Trump. Right? Yeah. And Cuomo was like, Trump is the type of person, you gotta stand up to him. Like, he'll point his finger in your chest and you gotta point it right back at him and tell him, like, no, we're not doing that. And then Zoran, he was basically saying, like, Zoran doesn't have the acumen as a politician to deal with somebody like Trump, right? And Zoran...
He said he'll basically get bullied by Trump.
Right. And Zoran was like diddling kind of like the same thing. Like, I'm gonna fight him. He's not gonna get his way. Yada yada yada. Right. Sliwa was the only one that was saying like, you gotta negotiate. He holds all the cards, and it's real.
He's right.
Because if you look at the news, all these cities that he brought the National Guard in, right? They didn't call their police department and say, yo, we gotta push these people out of our city, out of our state. No. National Guard came, they rolled in, they stood around with their AR-15s or whatever, and they did what the president told them to do. If
he say Zoran does win and the funds get cut, a lot of people they're stupid enough to blame Zoran for it.
It is his fault because it's like Steve was saying, you can't go and try to strong arm him. You have to come to the table and be willing to give.
He said if Zoran wins, he's cutting $7 billion out of the budget. If that man wins, he's going to do that regardless of negotiation.
Right, exactly. So
it's not his fault if $7 billion gets cut.
No, but it's
the fact that he said that if he wins, automatically he's going to get money taken away from him.
He said that because of Zoran's rhetoric.
And he's saying that to scare us. They will say it's Zoran's fault if the city goes under, even though just on the mere fact of him winning, we're already losing money.
Yeah, between losing the federal funding and scaring the shit out of friggin' major business owners and stuff like that.
But this stuff shouldn't be scaring them. This stuff shouldn't be scaring them. Maybe people, not fight to live. Most likely this man is going to win. So all we got to do is sit back and watch.
How are we going to sit back and watch?
That's all we're going to do. What are you going to do about it? What am I going to do about it? Exactly. So we're just going to sit back and watch.
I'm going to keep talking to y'all about it.
We're just going to sit back and watch. That's basically all we could do because it's most likely he's going to win. We'll see what happens. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we're going to have to deal with it for another 3 years.
I don't care about the fact that he's democratic socialist because one of my favorite politicians, Bernie Sanders, is a democratic socialist, and I wanted him to be president each time he ran. But
I think he only ran once.
He ran.
I think he only ran in 2016, and that's it.
Well,
actually, no, you're right. I think he ran in 2020.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he ran in 2020.
He not like Hillary, who just took a ball and went home, right? He's still out there talking and stuff like that. Hillary just doing her little speaking engagements and just being real quiet. But
she'll probably rear
that man had a real passion for what he was doing, right? And that's
the
what
thing is,
a
lot of real and passionate people are not in the government.
Well, I think they get beaten down by the reality that they're not going to be able to affect the type of change that they want to.
And it's reasonable change.
Right, but Bernie
reasonable change people don't want. It makes no sense.
Bernie been fighting since the civil rights era, and he's still
reasonable change is hard for people. People love to live in a complicated world, which I don't understand.
People don't love to live in a complicated world.
Yes, we do. We live in it right now.
No, it's complicated for us. It's not complicated for them. If we change the world to the way that we like it, it will become complicated for them. They like to live in a world of convenience and control. Them being in control. So,
it's convenient for the few, not convenient for the majority.
It's always been that way.
It boggles my mind. Anyway.
Doesn't matter who's in power, it's always been that way.
Likens big businesses to not paying workers. And there's such an inequality between the people who run the big businesses and the people who work for the big businesses and make little to nothing. So he's just trying to, like I said, trying to bridge the gap.
I wonder how much $30 an hour works out to a year.
$30? I think that's like 60.
$62,400, right? So somebody working the register at McDonald's should get $62,400. That don't make no sense to me.
Why can't they make $62? I mean, 62,000.
That don't make no sense to me.
So who do you think should be making the 62,000? You don't think EBS workers or environmental workers?
They don't even make that.
But you don't think they don't deserve that?
They should
people's
They
garbage.
They should make that more so than someone working at Target helping me. You know what I'm saying?
So now there's levels to this.
There is levels to it. There's always been levels to it. You're looking at jobs that were primarily seen as part-time jobs for children, and now you want to make them livable. Like you, sometimes I feel I'm probably gonna catch you for this, but whatever. Sometimes you got to look at yourself and be like, what the fuck have I done with my life that I got to be working at McDonald's behind cash register? I'm 30-something years old. Right?
Sometimes people fall hard times, and they got to start over. You can't belittle somebody's job, especially with how old they are. I'm not belittling the job.
What I'm saying is what certain jobs shouldn't garner certain pay.
People gotta live. And you cannot live on $18 an hour, especially in this city. And that's what he's talking about. You cannot live on $18 per hour and have a roof over your head.
You can't even live.
You can't pay rent with $18 an hour.
You can't even pay rent with $60,000. So what are we saying?
You can try and afford rent with $60,000, and that's what he's trying to fix.
Maybe you in a job where you get overtime, but
people are worried that they cannot afford to live here.
I guarantee you that you're not going to get overtime if they're paying you $60,000. You getting your flat pay, right?
But people can't afford to live here, and he's trying to fix it. There's such a wide margin, there's such a wide gap, and he's trying to bridge the gap. It's not going to take his whole duration as mayor to fix it, but at least he's trying to make the strides.
I feel like when you pay somebody,
and that's what he's running his campaign on, and that's what's really getting to the people because this really affects us. I stumbled upon a video of the CEO of Boeing. He was getting grilled. I think at Congress.
He used to it.
He was getting grilled, and the congressman asked him how much his salary was, and he was kind of ashamed to say what his salary was. Do you want to guess how much that man made a year?
How much?
$32.8 million.
Why is he embarrassed? I would have said that with pride.
No, because his
his
business is failing. He got a 45% increase.
Yeah.
In a year, a 45% increase when in the span of 18 years, the workers for Boeing only got a 1% increase in the span of 18 years.
I'm not saying.
Do you think that's good?
I'm not saying.
That's why Zoran is coming after these big companies.
Right. Boeing shouldn't even exist as a company anymore. All them planes that fell out the sky this past year. Right?
That's why certain people are coming after these big companies because it's stats like that.
No, but it's a government who keeps freaking.
Because of stats like that, and
giving them money,
and people
keep them afloat.
There's a lot of people who work for these corporate jobs, like these top level jobs, C-suite jobs, and they get raises based on keeping the company, I guess, not paying their workers and trying to save money in areas. So all that money that they did saving, it goes right back to them. It doesn't go back to the people who are actually running the company. And I know that.
Yeah, that's how businesses run.
But that's not right.
You're trying to run with as minimal overhead as possible.
And then you're the one that gets the raise, and not the people.
Hey, I'm not saying
working.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying how the world works.
That's why he's coming after big companies.
Yeah, but big companies is going to take their ball and go home.
We'll see. That's all I gotta say.
We're gonna see. It's gonna be. We live in interesting times.
We'll see. The buck has to stop somewhere.
Yeah, but it ain't gonna stop with Zoran.
And then if they go to another, they take their ball home and do that same shit over there. Guess what? It's not gonna fly there either. Because people are not gonna. They're not gonna put up with it. Oh, we're not New York. You don't do that to our people.
It's flying there already. Remember, the cost of living is different. You could pay what you're paying them in New York, in like Kansas.
But they're gonna see Memphis, like, why all of a sudden you're coming down here and trying to start your corporation? You trying to steal money from us too.
We had a conversation earlier about how, if I come to you and the masses are easily manipulated. What was I watching?
We gotta get to this topic.
There was
We're gonna stay on this.
there was a you know that puppet dog.
No.
And
Don't nobody know a puppet dog.
Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about.
There's a lot of puppet dogs.
All right, whatever. There was a comedy skit, and they asked
What
him,
show?
I can't remember. I saw it on social media, and they were asking people. I think it was like the Daily Show, and they was asking people. There was like, are people easily manipulated? And there was like, what do you think? They was like, no. He's like, all right, raise your hand. And they all raise their hand. It was like, he's like, clap your hands, and they all clap. Like they didn't know what was going on, but they were doing what he said, and he was like, you don't think you're easily manipulated? Like, people are easily manipulated, especially if you can articulate yourself in a certain way. The English language is a very tricky language, and you can say one sentence.
Love.
You can say one sentence, and it can mean three different things, right? So people are easily manipulated by someone who knows how to talk, right? And politicians and these CEOs, they know how to talk.
That's why I say we'll see. Next topic. I'm winded. So there's this viral video going around of a pastor by the name of Bishop Marvin Winans. The last name Winans might sound familiar to people if you're into gospel music. He comes from the famous Winans family. Black sheep. He has come under fire because there was a church member that was presenting her tithes to himself and the rest of the churchgoers, and she was short. She was able to provide $1,235, but he embarrassed her, saying, "This is not what I asked you to bring. You don't listen." He wanted her to bring $2,000 to the church. And instead of her saying, well, you should just, accept what I have. Yeah, the Bible says come with 10% of your earnings, but you give what you can. Like, I'm not bound to give you 10% of my earnings. I'm not bound to give you the amount that you think I owe you, because I also have to live too. So he's coming under fire because he basically embarrassed this lady. And the lady was like, don't worry, I'll get you the rest of the money. It sounded like a drug deal or something like that. You don't what's his name from Friday? Not
Debo.
Not Debo, the one with the curly hair.
Oh, Piggy?
No. He was doing the ice cream truck.
Oh, Big Worm.
Big Worm. Like when Smokey didn't have all his money.
Play
He's
with
like,
my emotions.
You play with my money, you play with my emotions.
That's what she should do.
It looked like a drug deal in front of a whole community, like a whole parish. Like, I didn't like the fact that he did that. That was very embarrassing. And sometimes I see why people don't give much respect to the church, because you have pastors like him basically saying, oh,
sleazeball. Yeah,
you don't have enough money, making it seem like the woman is less than. And that's not what the Bible preaches. That's not what God or Jesus, stood for.
A man giving out discount redemption.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I felt that was very embarrassing. Very, very embarrassing. And that's why certain people like to say a lot of people that go to church are hypocrites.
No, a lot of people that go to church, I think religion has a way of blinding you to things.
People like to hide, but I always say this, people like to hide behind religion. They do their nonsense and hide behind their religion, making it seem as if their religion is why they're doing what they're doing. And it's not. Stop hiding behind your religion. You're just not good of a person.
It's like they hide behind religion, or they use it as a tool to manipulate.
Yeah.
And
he's manipulating her. He manipulated her.
And people use it as a crutch, right? And if everything bad happens to you, it's God's will. Everything good happens to you, it's God's will. I prescribe to the notion, God gave us a body, a mind. You know what I'm saying? He gave us all the tools to be successful, and He wants us to go out there and be successful. I don't prescribe to everything good that happens to you is as a result of God's blessing. I feel like He gave us blessings at birth, right? A lot of us, some people get a bad hand, and I can't say feel that he gives us the tools to be successful and the free will to make the choices that lead us down the paths that we go down. But these snake oil salesmen like Marvin Winans, they prey on people who are, life is not really dealing them the cards that they like, and they're telling them that everything's going to be okay. They're comforting them with the Lord, and then they're extorting them at the same time. It's people like him that's why a lot of the youth today, a lot of the new generation are atheists.
Yeah, they don't believe in any type of religion.
Yeah, they don't believe in the religion because of the people who are teaching it. They look like hypocrites. They look like criminals and whatnot. This guy comes off like a sleazeball. And he do it to the right person, because if he did that to me, I'd have slapped the shit out of him in front of his whole congregation. I'm like, how you going to embarrass me like that? You know what I'm saying? I'm giving you all I can, and you telling me that ain't enough. That's crazy. So what I'm supposed to go do? Sell my shoes? That reminds me of when Vibes Cartel was like, "Oh, I'm coming to town, so if you can't afford,
you gotta sell your car."
I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it's tone deaf, especially in these times when we're talking about how hard it is to live, and cost is going up everywhere in the country, not just New York, right? So people struggling everywhere.
The thing is, she didn't even think that there's anything that was done wrong.
Right. She manipulated. She like.
That's the disturbing part.
She got that house slave mentality. She just like, yeah.
That's the disturbing part.
I'll get you the money,
This man disrespected you in front of the whole congregation, and you felt like he didn't do anything wrong. Now that's something. That's like, are you hypnotized?
And then he out here trying to.
It's like she's under hypnosis.
He don't even see what he did wrong. He was on there social media trying to
justify his actions.
What he was doing. And I was like, yo, that's
according
crazy.
to this article from the Griot, he since apologized to her for what has happened, but I feel he's probably going to be like, no cameras allowed.
He only apologized. You ain't going to see not another service from that fool. And the thing is, he only apologized because of the public backlash.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He's
and what exactly do you need this 2,000 for? Is it going back to the church?
No.
Because a lot of these times, and that's another reason why people don't respect churches anymore, go to churches, because the money that you're giving, thinking it's going to go back into the house of the Lord, is going to the pastor's pockets. When you see the pastor driving, he's driving a fancy car. What do you see the pastor wearing? He's wearing the fancy suits. Where do you see the pastor live? He's in a big, fancy-ass house. That's why certain people, not me, because I go to church, but I can understand why certain people are the way they are when it comes to going, because you see certain situations like this. This shouldn't even be going on in the house of the Lord. That's my opinion.
He said the Lord said,
the Lord didn't tell me,
heaven on earth, so I went and got me
the Lord
15,000.
The Lord wouldn't embarrass the woman in front of those people.
Yeah, that's not Christ-like. That's not Christian. But
not even the Pope would do that. The Pope don't ask for nobody's money.
Let me tell you, it always was a point of like contention to me when they asked for money during the services, because I just never felt like they found the right way to ask for it. It always seemed like they trying to just
bring around the little the round bowl, and then they pass it on to the next church member.
And like sometimes the way they say it, it's like they're trying to guilt you, like look at the state of the church.
This is to fix this, and this is to fix that.
I'm like, come on. Like, we gonna give.
Well, I can understand if it's going back into the church. If it's going back into the church, I don't mind. But sometimes it's not. Look at the pastor that got arrested for fraud. He was out there in Brooklyn. He got arrested for fraud the other day. You should see the everything was Gucci. They had a drop top car. Him and the family. And he's taking money from these people. It was a fraud. He probably wasn't even a pastor. He said, "Oh, let me get into this because that's how people will give me their money."
Yeah, because in religion,
some of these pastors, they're frauds.
There's a lot of suckers in the church. I'll tell you that.
And they use God.
They be willing to die for their pastor.
And the
pastor say anything and they'll believe it.
They're using God. That's a sin within itself.
Yeah.
Because you're using his name for profit.
People be using God to justify theft,
rape,
war, and all of that stuff, slavery, all of it. So they ain't never gonna stop.
They hide behind it. They touch little kids. It's a mess.
People gotta wise up.
It's a mess. It's like they seep into in there, and it's the devil basically.
Yeah, man. pride.
He be sleeping in the house of the Lord like crazy.
His church should be closed down. There should be nobody going to that church. He showed you who he was.
No, his church ain't gonna close down. There's other people there. It's all right, Pastor. We all make mistakes.
Here's my $2,000. Here, take $4.
We all make mistakes, Pastor. Keep preaching. But anyway.
You probably feel like everybody PPE. You ain't gotta get you a PPE loan again.
So, I think we're gonna wrap it up now. I hope you enjoyed today's conversations. My name is Danielle.
And I'm Noel.
And we hope to see you next week. You can
like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. You know, we there. And when you watch our stuff, please comment. Let us know what you think. You know, feedback is always welcome. Mm-hmm. And if there's any topics that you would like us to cover, just put it in the comments.
Okay. Bye.
Oh, really?